Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Tim in Green Bay here to talk about Packers training camp practice number 12. We're going to give you all of the updates. We'll run through the injury list. Had a couple things pop up. A couple people return to practice. We'll also give you Jordan Love's numbers on the day and kind of, or at least a breakdown of what he did today. Matthew Golden continues to shine. We'll talk about him and everything else in between as we get ready for the Packers' first preseason game come Saturday night. But before we do, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for us. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you're new here, if this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening. If you're looking for daily Packers content, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the bell icon so you get notified every time we do go live. We're live pretty much on a daily basis. We're doing pregame shows, postgame shows, in-depth analysis, film breakdown, the whole 9 yards. So if you're looking for that type of content, like I said, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate y'all making us a part of your wonderful Thursday evening here on this glorious August the 7th. Gents, we got football on as we speak. I've seen the chat light up. Sounds like Anthony Richardson just went down, maybe a potential arm injury. Also, earlier today, I think it came down the pike today. You guys remember Rashawn Slater, who just signed that huge deal, offensive tackle for the Chargers, I believe it is. He's done for the year, sounds like. So, man, I know you look at our injury list sometimes and you think, boy, this sucks. I think we're in really good position right now in terms of injuries and injury status compared to some. But anything you guys want to add to that before we dive into the practice here?
Yeah, pads are popping, right? Guys are going to get hurt. It's that time of year. And I'm with you, Clayton. I'll take where we're at right now. You know, we've got guys banged up. We got guys rehabbing and coming back just as much as anyone else, but not as much as other teams. There's other teams that are losing some pretty critical pieces. I think we've been relatively unscathed thus far. So crossed for Saturday's game. Let's go.
Yeah, I rarely disagree with Tim, but because Emilio's not here, his little naked body may have been flashing on the screen if we hadn't been careful. But we lost Travis Glover, Tim, and the way that you did put no respect on his name, I'm gonna fight for my man Emilio while he's not here, while he's in his bathtub with his rubber ducky and washing himself with a rag on a stick. That's what's happening. And yes, I am wearing a do-rag today, so it's for Gangster Goot. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Tim.
Perfect comment. All right. Tim, you got anything else, man? We good.
How the hell do I follow that? How am I supposed to?
Hey, it's saying I don't know how I was going to start the show when I logged in and I seen Emilio 6 inches from the freaking camera with no shirt on. I was like, what in the world am I even looking at here? I'll be back. I got a shower. I'll be back. All right, man.
And then he came back to make fun of me.
He did. That is a true story. He really did. So Boz with the huge super chat. Appreciate you, Boz. Good to see you in here, buddy. He says, let's have us a season, y'all. Man, I'm so excited, man. We've been hovering around the 70 mark, 75 all week long. You wake up in the morning, it's a little bit chilly in the mornings. You have to throw a hoodie on. We made it, gents. It's football season. Boz, thank you so much, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well out there. Let's dive into it. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's hit it. All right. Practice number 12. This was a little bit shorter one, it sounded like. Tim, I know you were out there earlier today. I'm going to lead off every training camp practice breakdown where you were there, boots on the ground. With you have the floor, sir. Anything stick out to you? What was the weather like? How did the energy feel? Am I wrong in saying it was a little bit shorter practice today?
No, that's 100% correct. It was very short practice today. Started a little later than 10:30, and I believe it was over with right around noon. I mean, maybe a little more than an hour, but of course, I mean, they beat the hell out of these guys yesterday. Let's not forget. So I think it makes sense to kind of give them a little lighter load today, but the intensity level was still there. I mean, these guys are breathing fire. They're a focused football team. Something's different, like we talked about this year at camp. So vibe is still where we want it, guys. Lot to feel good about right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into it, boys. So first things first, let's hit the injury report. Wes Hodkiewicz put out a tweet. Packers public training camp practice number 12. Carl Brooks and Warren Brinson are practicing. We talked about that yesterday, that obviously they were, I think Brinson left practice. I think Carl Brooks didn't even start practice, right? So they were back today. That seems to be all behind us there. New injuries, however, Xavier McKinney with the calf. Center Elton Jenkins is back. Must have acted up a little bit again. And then wide receiver Jaden Reed. You guys remember he had a foot injury the other day. We thought it was just a cleats. Evidently something's still bothering him there. So, look, this is all precautionary. Obviously, you want to keep them out of the lineup, keep them off the practice field until they're fully ready. That way you don't go into the season missing some of your key pieces. Now, did not participate list on top of the new injuries was Rasheed Walker groin, running back Emmanuel Wilson with the knee, Dontavion Wicks with the calf, Nate Hobbs with the knee, Travis Glover with the shoulder, Kamal Haddon with the hip, Marshawn Lloyd with the groin, Christian Watson with the knee, Colin Oliver with the hamstring, and John Williams with the back injury. Now, I wanted to point
real quick, if I could just real quick say something on Colin Oliver. Got to see him running today. I haven't seen them let him like full on running. So I don't know if that's an indicator that he's getting closer, but he looked pretty good during rehab today.
That's great. That's great news right there, man. For sure. So this, I thought this was kind of cool. Matt Schneidman put a tweet out, said Dontavion Wicks seems down in the dumps today since he's missing another practice with calf injury. I say that because Romeo Doubs just walked up to Wicks with a big smile, gave him a hug, and said he needs Wicks to smile. Romeo seemed like a different person this year, guys. Am I wrong in saying that, Jacob? It just seems like this dude's his mind is in a good spot. We're going to show a highlight or two here from practice today where he just continues to ball out. If this camp, Jacob, if it's anything, any reflection on or a look into the future, I should say, on what Romeo Doubs might do this year, my goodness, man, he's about to ball out.
Yeah, I actually kind of mentioned that a little bit last night, how I just, from all the interviews, him interacting with the fans, just his body language, it seems way different than the Rome that we're used to. And, I don't want to dig into his head and put words in his mouth kind of thing, but I would agree that it seems as if that he is just more comfortable with himself and with the team, with the camaraderie, with the brotherhood in that wide receiver room. I'm sure that over the last few years, it's been tough with how competitive that room has been. And finally, it seems like him and Christian, obviously terrible that Christian's dealing with the injury, but it seems like that those guys were kind of with Bird, with Reed. They're like the standalone leaders finally. Right. They had a lot of time where they were kind of, oh man, we got the stream guys back in here.
Not anymore. They're gone.
All right. Thank you, Timmy. It does seem like he's turned over a new leaf, or he's just, like I said, happier. I don't know what's going on in the guy's personal life or whatever had been going on, but he just seems like he is content and really excited for the season, which makes me super jacked because even myself, I thought that there was a good chance that Rome could have seen his last days and that he could get traded at any moment. It's still a possibility, right? But I just don't feel like the Packers are ready to let him go, especially not just this year.
Yeah, and
I just caught the ball.
Emilio, it sounded like everybody was reporting too. I think Wildy had mentioned it, that Love was really bragging on Dobby as well. And you guys know they've worked out long before Romeo Doubs got into the league, right? They were working out together with the same trainer, I guess it is, right? But what do you think about Doubs here, man? Or I know some people in here like. Let's see, there was another comment. Well, first of all, Daryl says Doubs making the jump to stardom. Dan Mullins said Romeo seems like a team player, but it's also a contract year. Listen, I think that's a fair statement. He realized I'm about to screw my whole career up here. If there were issues behind the scenes last year, Emilio, and he seems to have gotten it cleaned up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, thinking about it, that's the one thing I was always, high on Rome for is you have that connection with Jordan Love, right? That is a deep connection beyond just the 3-4 years that they've had together here. They're friends. They got, timing down, all that stuff. That's why I would say, Jordan would maybe put in a word for Doubs to keep him here. And the fact that Rome is kind of coming out with this sort of mentality and attitude after, you hit a speed bump last year. You maybe, had something going on, whatever. Let's grow from it. You can get better. You can't take that time back. Let's move forward with it now. And I do think that that's what he's doing, making the most of his opportunities. And, hey, I'm the veteran in here basically besides McCole, but I'm the veteran of this team in this locker room right now, in this wide receiver room. I need to support it. I need to be there and hold them up.
Yeah. Tim, You got anything else to add to the Romeo conversation here, brother?
I can't remember. It might have been Packers official media or somewhere I saw a post basically referencing boys to men, and a lot of these young players are becoming men now. We watched Jordan Love get married during the off season. A lot of those guys were at that wedding. Tucker Kraft became a father. I believe Luke Musgrave became a father. There's changes that happen. We tend to forget that these players are human beings. They're not just robot, athletes. And I think it's a big part of your development when you kind of mature a little bit, both as a player on the field and as a man off the field. And I think that's probably where Rome is. And I think a lot of these guys on this team right now. So the boys are growing up a little bit now.
Yeah, it's true. Hardy the Prophet with the super chat. Thank you so much, Hardy. He says Rome went and meditated with A-Rod over the offseason. I don't know if he's being funny there, if that actually happened. You never know nowadays, right? So I know this. He's in a good spot, and I look forward to seeing him get paid. I think Romeo deep down inside is a great dude. I have my doubts that he's going to sign a long-term deal with Green Bay simply because, there's so many things that have happened up at this point. I was hearing Brian Balaga talk about it on Wildy and Tausch, and he's like, it's one of those situations where as a GM, if he does ball out, you're willing to pay him if he's going to be a number one receiver, right? But also in the back of your mind, you got to be thinking, we remember what happened last year. And what if that resurfaces and now you've guaranteed a bunch of money? That gets to be a little tough, right? I still am of the opinion. I think Rome will probably play this year out, test the market. And if the market is where I think it will be, he'll probably sign a deal way more than what the Packers are willing to pay him. But I could end up being wrong there. So.
Right. But even if he's bringing that attitude and mentality to practice, so Clay, right? I mean, that leadership role, even if you want to carry it and you're going to move on after this, I appreciate you doing that now.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for that super chat, Hardy. Good to see you, buddy. So McKinney, right? We talked about McKinney having an injury here, and it was listed here by Hawkowitz as a calf, right? McKinney expects to be ready for week 1. He said, quote, obviously glad that we caught it when we caught it. Maybe this was LaFleur's quote. I don't think they specified. Obviously, we're glad we caught it when we caught it. So just kind of trying to take it slow and then the build up, obviously. But I'll be ready when it's time to go for sure. So that was McKinney talking there. So I think he's going to be good to go week 1, much like Nate Hobbs. Unless Nate Hobbs has a setback, I think both those guys will be ready to go. But, man, it's always scary when you see, some of your key premier players kind of pop up all of a sudden. It's like, man, glad we caught that right before the season. Boy, that could have been disastrous if you'd have got in season with it. So, and then, of course, Marshawn Lloyd injured on the first day in pads during training camp. He didn't practice, but he worked with the trainer. He said it wasn't a major setback. He's focused on recovery. Tim, do you have anything else on that? Have you heard anything around the facility there in terms of Marshawn Lloyd? Everybody looks ready?
I didn't get to see much of the offense today, but I'm assuming he's with the rehab group, and they're trying to get him back. I mean, I almost cringe when I hear his name being brought up, because we're in the same spot with him we were in this time last year. I mean, dealing with nagging things, kind of stunting his growth. We know if that guy is healthy, he's a hell of a running back, and potential star power. It's just, not staying on the field is not helpful. So, long answer to a short question. I got nothing on Marshawn Lloyd. Hopefully we see him back on the field at some point here.
Got it. Hardy the Prophet with the super chat says, if he becomes Love's top target, no way he goes, talking about Dobbs. I think that's a fair statement. What do you guys think? I mean, if he goes out, Jacob, and he leads in targets, he leads in catches, he leads in yards, I think there's a decent chance that they do re-sign Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, honestly, even if he does, I don't know if I just think the most likely scenario is that he's going to get offered. He's going to get an offer you can't refuse. If he does do that well, that I think that another team's going to try to shark him. For whatever reason, I don't see Green Bay rolling out a deep pocketbook for him when we have such depth at the wide receiver room, especially with Matthew Golden, Savion. Obviously, depending on what happens with Christian, I still, if you had to make me choose right now, I still would honestly extend Christian over Romeo. And that's not a dig on Romeo. It's just if it did happen, I would think it would happen maybe like mid-season and just try to get a team-friendly deal. But I would probably push back on that a little.
Okay. What about you guys? You agree, disagree? If Romeo comes out, leads in targets, catches, receiving yards, do you think they give him a deal?
Pay that man his money.
I think
that connection's big, man. I really do. I wouldn't be opposed to paying Rome if he comes out and does all that.
He's got the best hands on the team. I mean, unless Matthew Golden does. And listen, boys, is that what it's trending towards? That dude right there, his hands. It sounds like
stick them on him.
Yes, it's hard to not try to get too excited, because you guys, you know how I am. I'm probably a boring fan, but I try not to get too high, too low. But the stuff that you're seeing Matthew Golden do in camp is like, man, I haven't seen this yet. Closest thing to it was Romeo Doubs, right? What he's doing in camp is kind of right there on par with Golden. But you look at Golden, it's like this is his first NFL training camp. It's wild, man. Dan Mullen with the super chat. Thank you, Dan. He says, if you're drafting fantasy, which wide receiver are you drafting first on this squad? That's a great question there, man. Great question. So of all the Packer wide receivers that are on this roster, you have to pick from them who would be your top wide receiver. I don't care who goes first. I'm eager to hear this.
Bird. If you're following where the rankings are, it used to be Bird, but Golden has now surpassed him just because of the hype that's going on and the fact that they've spent that number 1 draft pick. But they're honestly, for a while there, they were literally like, I can't remember exactly where they were ranked. It was like 149 and 150th or something like that. They were going in like the 7th and 8th round kind of thing. Like I said, there is now a bit of a gap between them just because Golden has looked so good. And a lot of times the preseason, the OTAs, the mini camp stuff doesn't sway the draft community as much as it, but the fact that it has so much, that is a testament to how well Matthew Golden is doing, so that people are like, oh, that we got to put some respect on this dude's name. Like it seems like, we've talked about it in multiple segments. It just seems to be clicking for him and way faster than I expected at this point.
Yeah. So I think it does come down to these 3 though, right, Amelia? You're talking about Golden, Doubs, and who's the other one? Reed. Our leading receiver last 2 years.
I almost want to pick Rome. I think I just got a feeling for him this year. So I think, Dan, I would choose Rome for this, though I am excited for Reed and Golden, absolutely. But I think just the reliability of Rome being out there and being Jordan's go-to, his relief, his check valve, all that, I think that's where I will put my money.
So, Jacob, I'm assuming they got Doubs third. In terms of those rankings, if you're just talking Packers receivers, it would be, you're saying it's Golden, Doubs, and then it would be, Golden, Reed, then Doubs. Is that how it lines up? And is that average draft position, or is that just projected points for the year?
That's ADP, which basically goes off of what their projected points are. But the thing is last year, every single Packers wide receiver was basically in this bunch, kind of in that same area. Nobody was willing to really go out and say who's going to be the guy. And basically, obviously, Bird was the guy, and Tucker was surprisingly the second one there, right? As far as production, Tucker had a lot of touchdowns and outscored a lot of the guys on the Packers. So most people are not touching Packers wide receivers until they absolutely have to. But I'm telling you guys, you could get a steal with Doubs, because Doubs has fallen quite a bit. You could also get a steal with even a guy like Savion Williams. I'll guarantee you that there's maybe 2% of most drafts that you're going to be in, are you going to even know who Savion Williams is, let alone draft him? If he, for whatever reason, comes out and has 5 to 10 touchdowns because he uses them on gadget plays in the end zone, all that kind of stuff, that's the definition of a league winner right there. Somebody that differentiates you from other teams. So it's impressive, man.
Good stuff. And listen, I'm not a huge fantasy football fan, guys, but I love these type of conversations because it really makes people think, all right, who's going to be the most productive, right? And I love hearing what everybody in the chat thinks too. I was seeing it seemed like it was mostly Doubs, Golden, Doubs, Golden, Doubs, Golden, right? You don't hear Reed much, but I would have to go with Reed if it were me personally. So thank you for that super chat, Dan. Appreciate you. All right, let's get back to the practice updates. This is exciting stuff. Rich Rosa over on Twitter said tight end Tucker Kraft just had an insane one-handed catch during red zone offense work, day 12 of training camp in Green Bay. And I think we've actually got that clip, unless our boy Tucker Kraft actually made 2 one-handed grabs. But you guys tell me what you think here. This came from our buddy Baz, who tweeted this out over on X. So you're going to notice here, and it is zoomed out a little bit, Tucker's going to be running from this side of the formation, right, and coming across. He gets right behind that second line of defense. And watch Tucker with this one-handed grab here. Kind of hard to see, but look, right here. Woo! I'm telling you, man, people were sleeping on Tucker Kraft's hands. They are. That's a hell of a grab.
And just as well, I love that Matt added the halfback shuffle there, halfback shuffle motion. Get Jacobs off of Jordan's hip. Let's get him outside, and you can get upfield immediately. But yeah, what a grab! I mean, right around Quay's ear hole. Good ball, good catch.
I think Quay was looking for that safety help. Was that Zane Anderson there, 39, a little late? Because it looked like Quay had him faced up, and then look at the ball placement.
It's insane, man.
I mean,
insane.
I think that's just freak athletic ability right there from Tucker Kraft, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad look from Quay there, I guess. I mean, especially considering he's just kind of getting his groove back in teams, right now.
Yeah, Tony Holman says I had to buy myself a Kraft jersey yesterday while in Green Bay. Jacob, I truly think they're sleeping on Tucker Kraft this year, man. I do.
They really are. I listened to multiple podcasts over the last week, and guys that I sincerely trust, not just fantasy, not just actual NFL commentators and stuff, have talked about how they think that Tucker Kraft is a top 5 tight end already, and that this year, depending on what could happen, he could break the top 4, top 3. I really do think he is that kind of guy. We dove into the metrics with if he were to get the same amount of targets as Brock Bowers did, who shattered that rookie record, who all had one of the best tight end seasons of anybody of all time. Tucker Kraft would have had more yards and probably better stats, which is insane to think.
It is nuts.
Yeah, I saw that, Chad Bates. Me and Bates, no, we're in the same league, so I know what he's trying to do here. But
so Bates has a super chat here for those listening on the pod. Jacob, can you give us your top prospect for each round of fantasy? So Bates over there playing chess, not checkers, like just trying to get him to slip up just a touch.
Caleb Williams in the first for sure. Emmitt Smith is good, I hear. And
he was actually on Ross Tucker's pod today.
I actually heard that. It was yesterday, Emilio, but can't expect you to be
nice
on time.
distraction there, Jacob. Just kind of deviate the conversation away from that, right?
I'm not giving up none of my trade secrets here.
Yeah, you're not
this
giving
is for
up
money. We're playing for money.
Thank you.
Bates for hey, let me hear your prospects.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Thank you, Bates. We appreciate you, buddy. All right, moving along here, back to the practice update. Romeo Doubs does it again with a 20-yard touchdown over the shoulder from Love. Outstanding throw to place it over Ballantyne. Sounds like Ballantyne has come back into camp too with his hair on fire a little bit. You can tell he sees an opportunity. You don't want to let it slip by, but this is one heck of a throw and catch from Jordan Love to Romeo Doubs. Similar placement. You're going to notice Doubs over here in this general area to the left. And watch Dobby bring this in. You'll see Ballantyne. I believe it's Ballantyne that jumps in the air. You just see arms flailing, and it just drops right in the basket. Right?
I just caught the ball.
I believe this is it. Did I get it crossed up? Nope, I got it crossed up. My bad, guys. Got it mixed up. This is actually our boy Matthew Golden. My bad. Here's the Doubs connection. Let me get this up here. Thought I had everything in line. You could tell I was running behind when I got in here today. All right. Here we go. Yeah, here's the Doubs connection. And again, this came out from Baz over on X. So watch him. You're going to see him kind of work his way outside.
There we go.
Look at that. Perfect placement on that ball from Love. And again, you'll notice Ballantyne at the end here. I mean, he's full extension. He just drops that thing right in the bucket. Unbelievable throw and catch there from Dobby. Again, man, he's continuing to flash. What else can you say,
Yeah. Rummy Rome in the house, watch your mouth. That's what you say.
It is nice to see, too, that Ballantyne was in position, somewhat, and just absolute perfect bucket drop, like you said. I mean, can't get mad at that from either angle.
He played it perfect. Ballantyne did. Like, there's not nothing else you can do really there. Just a great throw. And you're seeing Jordan Love this camp with a little more touch, it feels like, right? Which I think is absolutely huge for his game, the evolution of his game, I should say. So, yeah, we got Bernie in the house with the super chat. Thank you so much, Bernie. You're too kind, buddy. He says, love the PTA energy. Go Pack. Go. Hey, man, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. I think I know what you're talking about with the PTA energy. We try to keep things on the positive side over here, and you'll hear we had a negative Nancy in the chat pre-show, and I'm pretty sure it was Big O again with one of his 75 accounts, because you always know it's Big O because he just rapid fires a bunch of negative comments one after another.
That's what Italy was, right?
Yeah. And it's funny too, because when you get a group together like we've got here, what ends up happening is the turds kind of float to the top of the water and they really stick out. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, yeah, that's a turd. Let's get him out of here. And we just do everything we can to keep the punch bowl clean. You know what I mean, Emilio? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. We're not making jungle juice right now.
Dan Mullen, and thank you so much, Bernie. We appreciate that, man. It's very generous of you. Dan Mullen says, with the super chat, any player that you feel is on the bubble right now that you're hoping makes the team? That's
Malik Heath.
Yeah, that's a good one, Tim. I can't disagree with that one. Let's go around the horn with that. I'm going to put Emilio on the spot here. Give Jacob a second to think about it. Emilio, what player is on the bubble? And, listen, on IR for the year doesn't mean they're on the bubble. You know what I mean?
No, I know. He's good. He's already on the squad. I'm not worried about that.
he's on the 54-man roster.
Sure. So, yeah, if I were to pick somebody, man, that's tough. I like
tough.
Tim's answer. I want water cooler there for sure. I think he's proven himself. He's got sticky hands just like Dobbs. He catches basically everything that's thrown his way, and he's reliable, right? And Matt likes the way he blocks, his effort, all that.
Yeah.
Tim, I think I'm gonna steal that from you, bud.
That's okay. We can share it. It's
okay.
cool.
I appreciate that.
So who was it?
Malik Heath.
Malik Heath. Got it. All right, Jacob. What about you, man? Who's yours?
I don't know if mine counts necessarily, but I would go probably Nazir Stackhouse. Would you consider him a bubble guy?
I think so.
Hey, I think so.
DFA is a bubble guy until he plays his way
That's
out of the
fair.
team,
That's
right?
very fair.
I think I'd have to go with him, man. I did see another one, Omar Brown. He's just done so much. It's a tough room to crack. That would probably mean that the man, the myth that doesn't exist, Mr. Zane Anderson, probably wouldn't make the team, something like that. I wouldn't necessarily love that, but I like the younger, more promising upside guy. So I'd say probably like a Omar Brown or a Nazir Stackhouse.
Mm-hmm. For me, man, it's tough because, last year I would have said Ballantyne, right? And they cut him loose, and now he's back on the roster, and I don't feel the same way this year. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, he obviously didn't have enough in the tank to make the roster last year. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a couple of names that come to mind for me is like say a Chris Brooks, although you could probably get him on the practice squad. I think there's a decent chance of that. When you look at the safety room, everybody's talking about Omar Brown, right? I worry that Zane Anderson is going to be the next guy that kind of gets the axe, and I'm going to be going, man, I really wanted to see him in an expanded role a little bit, even if it's just mop-up time. And I'm glad we get to see him in the preseason. But Zane Anderson, man, when he played last year, he surprised the heck out of me. And again, it was like it wasn't a whole lot of snaps, but boy, oh boy, did he look comfortable in this Jeff Hafley defense, man.
Yeah. What do you think about the Bo Melton conversation?
Yeah, and thank you so much, Dan.
Jacob.
Yeah, appreciate the super chat there, Dan. You're the man, buddy. Jim H says Bo Melton got some first team reps today. I'm telling you, man. If you really focus on like the local beat reporters and everything, every year they'll kind of tip the hand a little bit. Just being around the facility, you could tell when someone's kind of safe. And I wouldn't have thought this going into camp. I mean, you guys know how I felt. As soon as they said he was a cornerback, I was like, oh, boy.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time. But I do eat them, though.
But, man, it's feeling like he is, if you want to consider him a bubble, I think that's a decent, description of the situation. But also with Bo Melton, it sounds like he might be competing for a starting role, which is crazy to think about all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
If you watch an interview with him today on Packers.com, their YouTube channel, they asked him how he actually liking cornerback, and he's like, I actually really like it.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked, more than corner or more than wide receiver, and he said, they're different, but he said he's like genuinely excited, that he's getting more and more excited every single day. Like Ron says that he's talking with his brother, how he had played it in the past, how the PBUs is almost like scoring a touchdown for him right now, which is really cool, and how he really does think that when he made the move, he's like, man, it's going to take some time, blah, blah, blah. Like how Half said, it's a process. Don't be too quick to judge in either direction. And then he said, and then I started making plays, and I was kind of impressed by how many plays I've made. Now I've made a lot of plays, and it sounds like he is sincerely looking really good. Like, and one thing I actually wrote down. Let me. He talked about which me and Emilio, I believe, had mentioned how he thinks he has a little bit of an advantage because as he gets past the 5-yard marker, he knows that certain routes are not going to happen. As he gets to the 10-yard marker, he knows that certain routes are not going to happen. Based on the breaking points of where those routes would need to have already started.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to 15 yards, gets to 20 yards. He knows that they're doing nothing unless they're doing a go route. You know what I mean? Like he's got that kind of mentality of, I know what the route tree looks like and what they need to do to set it up. Therefore, he has a split second on most of these cornerbacks that are kind of reacting where he's looking at it through the eyes of the wide receiver, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Jacob. I was listening to that too. You think of just such little nuances of, hey, he's gotten past the 6-yard line. All right, I've gotten rid of a flat. I've gotten rid of this quick out. I've gotten rid of the quick slant. All right, I've gotten to 10. Now what's happening? I think that is super important. And the fact that he thought he was going to be kind of step behind on comebacks or hitches or anything like that. He's actually impressed himself about how he's in the dude's hip pocket the whole time, being able to make a play. Obviously, you're going to miss one here and there, but I think he really does I feel like he gets, he's happy about it, giddy about like being a corner right now, which is awesome.
Yeah. I love what Andy Monday says. He goes, Bo's making plays. Better call him Shakespeare.
Oh, I see what you did there.
See?
Andy Monday always raising the IQ of the silly little program. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, let's get back to practice updates. And thank you guys so much for the super chat. Seriously, I don't want to use the whole show thanking you, but please understand we appreciate it more than you know. Edge defender Lucas Van Ness stuffed Josh Jacobs on a run play by overpowering his blockers. So not only are we seeing LVM beat both Anthony Belton and Jordan Morgan like drums rushing the quarterback, all of a sudden he's making his presence felt there against the run as well. Malik Willis' first pass nearly intercepted by safety Katano Ladapo, followed with a downfield strike to tight end John Fitzpatrick. Willis in the red zone, 2 of 4 passing, batted pass by cornerback Kalen King, dropped by wide receiver Will Shepard, a touchdown to wide receiver Julian Hicks. It was a tumbling catch, and short completion to wide receiver Cornelius Johnson. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Kalen King, have we seen anything negative on him throughout this camp so far? It just seems like, he had the interception, right? Was that on family night? He had the interception. Tim, have you heard anything negative on Kalen King this camp? It seems like he's having a pretty good camp, right?
I agree. Yeah, I haven't heard anything negative or seen anything like firsthand. Of course, guys, when they break off into drills, a lot of times they'll have to do something, maybe repeat it once or twice if they, miss a step or something. That's just kind of the mantra with this team this year is getting right the first time every time. And if you don't, we're going to have you do it until you get it right. And we're not going to move on until we figured it out. And I haven't seen Kalen King making too many mistakes. So pretty positive camp for him this year, which is we're excited for, right? We were excited to, get a look at him last year. And I think he kind of, that kind of unofficial red-shirted rookie season, I think this kid is ready to play ball, and it shows. It does.
No. Yeah. MG Toe Legion in the chat says, I'm rooting big time for King. I am too, man. King's one of those guys that if he can return to that next to last year in college that he had at Penn State, man, he was a dog. He played the game so physical. Really, really would like to see him kind of take that next step. Also today, defensive end Aaron Mosby back from injury, batted a Willis pass. Later, a screen pass was deflected and nearly intercepted by Brenton Cox Jr. So Brenton Cox Jr. also seems like he's having a pretty darn good camp, man. We talked about he looks more physical. He looks quicker. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Last year, he proved, hey, I can play the run too, guys. If there's anybody on this roster that's earned more snaps in the regular season, it's our boy Brenton Cox Jr. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
Ooh, yeah.
Coach Matt LaFleur did note, though, that more batted passes in practice due to less aggressive rushing. Okay,
Right.
Meaning the guys aren't pinning their ears back and going after the quarterback, so they're just looking to get their hands up in the throwing
Right,
lane.
because quarterback's got a red jersey on for a reason, right? You got to stay off of them. Matt was talking about that in his presser. Yeah, obviously we're not going after it. And he was also talking about, with Malik being able, when he scrambles and stuff, keep that ball up so you're not telltale sign that you're going to be running it. And then on top of that, him keeping that keeping the ball up, knowing that he's not really going to run it. The defense is coming at you, but training them not to leave their feet. You want to run through the quarterback. You can't do that right now, right? So you got to try to, stop him on other ways.
Yeah, it's a great point. Cornerback Kalen King here again, guys. Broke up a deep 50-50 ball from Willis to Johnson. King expressed confidence in his camp performance. Listen, I don't want to harp on it too much, but it's kind of feeling like maybe that's my bubble guy that I want to see make the roster. Maybe that's the answer.
A good one.
Yeah, because when you look at, let's pull up the depth chart real quick, and we'll get back to the camp updates here. When you look at cornerback, let's assume Nate Hobbs is ready for week 1, okay, and he doesn't start on the IR. You got Nate Hobbs.
BTA. You know what I'm saying?
You got Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, Javon Bullard, right? You've got Carrington Valentine. Then it comes down to Bo Melton and Kalen King, right? That's
Unless
the next.
you're throwing Bullard in the safety room, right? Is that kind of how?
I don't see it that way. I see Bullard as a nickel corner. He's played number 1 nickel the entire camp. He played number 1 nickel last year, unless the safety got hurt and he kicked the safety. I strictly see Bullard as a slot corner who can play safety as opposed to a safety who can play slot corner. That's just going off of how the season ended and how they've lined them up during camp. And maybe you guys see that different. Do y'all see that different? Do y'all see Bullard playing safety instead of slot corner?
No, I agree 100% with your assessment on where Bullard's at. It's just the team is listing him as a safety. And it's
that's what I mean, yeah.
So there might be an effort on the Packers' part to kind of get him around and also being able to, play on the back end a little bit more for us. As the coverage, grade hopefully improves on him. But I'm with you, Clay. I think Bullard is best suited as just a smash mouth slot corner.
And I will refer back to last year when the depth chart originally released last year. I specifically remember them asking Matt LaFleur in the presser, hey, your depth chart came out today. He said, oh, did it? He said, just so you guys know, no one even asked me about that depth chart. That's what he said.
And
Fake news. It's fake news.
I could have sworn Matt said in his presser, not this one, maybe the one before that, Bull is still practicing both safety and nickel. Like they're still asking him to do both. He's a smart guy. He can do that. But he said that he is impressed kind of the way he's, working in the box and stuff like that.
Yeah. So my question to everybody is this, and this is how I answer whether he's a slot corner or a safety. Day 1, do you start Javon Bullard over Evan Williams at safety? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Day 1, do you start Javon Bullard in the slot, seeing that Nate Hobbs is outside, or do you bring in Kalen King to play the slot, or whoever's next on the depth?
Bullard in the slot. Yeah.
To me, he's a slot corner. That's you know what I mean? Because when injuries happen, Emilio, you're spot on, dude. Things are going to get shuffled around. I mean, it's going to happen. I think we will see him at safety at some point. But
I think kind of to this point, Clay, where Chris was Escobar, I was kind of going slot corner, second hardest position to QB1, in my opinion. I think that's fair. You're asking the guy has to cover either a wide receiver or a tight end, size, speed. You got running backs out of the backfield. You've got motion. Half the time you're on the wide side. You got to hold contain. Are you in a flat? All these things. And on top of that, you're also learning safety. So that's where I'm like, I would like him to maybe pick one, but I also the Packers like the flexibility anyway. So why would they stop training a guy 2 ways if he can do that?
No, I think it's a great point, man. I do.
We saw that last year, right? He was thrust into that, that role, having to start a couple of times at safety, and he didn't look well because I don't think he was ready. I think he played a lot of slot, and when they called his number, he was, struggling a little bit. So I think there's probably an emphasis to kind of get him well-rounded,
Yeah. And speaking of thrusting, Respect Orange just says, Omer has a guinea pig farm, so he never runs out of things to throw. So there you go. Appreciate that update. Heard it from a fan right here. Kicker Brandon McManus. He was 4 of 6 on field goals today. All right. Missing from 47 wide right and 52 wide left.
Caught him.
Yeah, cut his ass. Overall camp record is 48 of 52.
I wish we knew the hash that he was kicking from, because I've been watching them, and I'm trying to see which one, because some of the misses. First of all, when this guy misses a field goal, it's by like 3 centimeters. It's
Did he hit the post today?
Yeah, or he hits an upright or hits the crossbar maybe. I mean, he doesn't miss by much. And again, it was pretty windy today. It wasn't like exactly calm out there.
Which is good practice. I'd rather him miss and
Yes.
hey, how did I feel on that crosswind? What happened? Did I lose it, near the post, or did I lose it right off the snap?
Yep, it's like sighting in that new rifle, right? You gotta dial it in. It takes a few reps, right?
Dude,
Couple
that's the
click.
stuff. That's the stuff he's gonna have to deal with in Lambeau again. I mean, listen, go pop in Madden 26, put it in heavy snow. Good luck even seeing the uprights. You know what I mean? So, no, I'm with you on that, Amelia. I think it's a great point that you want it to be windy out there. Jacob, I don't know about you, but hearing Tim describe training camp, a little breeze blowing, does it not sound like heaven on earth, dude? Just out there in Green Bay.
It definitely does. Absolutely. I mean, Wisconsin weather is very unique. Whereas one day it's the most beautiful place you've ever seen in your life, and the next it's just
Miserable.
insanity and miserable. The summer's like that too. People think that because Green Bay is quote unquote cold. The
It's
summer
hot.
is one of the most tropical, humid, freaking climates for just about 2 or 3 months. But it is brutal. But when you get a good day, it is a great day. You got a little light breeze, that sun's hitting just right, except for Canada, pumping a bunch of smoke into us. But I don't want to get into Canada again.
We appreciate that, Jake.
I just honestly, it is really great. And God, where did I see a
Live look at Jacob talking right now.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Steve.
Coach has some bad news.
Is that a pirate? What the hell am I looking at?
It's Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
Dodgeball?
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's right.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Coach Lynn says, what?
I'm joking. I've seen it. Jacob, carry on, for God's sake.
Coach Lynn says Ennis Rakestraw for Detroit is going on season-ending IR. Tim,
Damn.
so now Emilio's in the
God,
dirt.
we didn't
Tim's
draft
in the
him.
dirt.
He said, I'm glad we didn't try.
We better put some bubble wrap on Brenton Cox Jr. I swear to Lord.
Oh my God, we got breaking news. Unbelievable. All right, so practice ended with Malik Willis bullet pass deflected by cornerback Corey Ballantyne. All right, too old for this. There's a guy on our team who dresses like a pirate. I do remember that part now. Such a good wasn't that the one that had the sound drop to that says "Listen up, crotch sweat, crotch stain"?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yes.
That was Rip Torn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Dodge a
Man.
ball. There it is. That's what I was looking for. So again, Corey Ballantyne seems to be having a pretty good camp. I think he's probably going to end up being one of those practice squad possibilities. But you guys know how I felt about Corey Ballantyne before last year. It's funny too because the year before I was like, man, Carrington does not look like an NFL corner his rookie year. Corey Ballantyne's the truth. Corey Ballantyne gets cut. Carrington Ballantyne is our best corner last year. So what do I know when it comes to camp? But those are your camp updates. That's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour two, where we're going to give you Jordan Love updates, little Matthew Golden highlights as well. But we'll see you over there. We appreciate you.